So, Direwolves take game number 1. Not what it looked like at the beginning of the match.
No.
It was certainly a kind of a rough and lucky start for both teams.
Well, it was kind of back and forth, to be honest, because it was one of those early games where I'm sitting there gripping the table, and then, like, at 10 minutes, like, all's well that ends well. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing went to plan, but then it got to an okay destination for Order, but I think, like, that was certainly, like, this is a typical game one in a best of 5.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
There's lots of fumbles, lots of little mistakes, and lots of nerves going on.
Yeah, 100%. Because like to harp in on like the first 10 minutes of the game, you're seeing like Nico pick into Renekton. Tally's been playing like scaling for weeks, and this is like a punish press the attack Renekton lane. Gets split on so Spooks can hard force bot gank, and yes, they do get that. And if one thing didn't happen, if Sejuani doesn't, like 2 versus 2 mid, if Raze is level 6 when he ganks a flashless Syndra, cleanseless Syndra with get back, Swiffer dies, 3k gold lead in the early game, Direwolves are just chugging it to the Nexus.
I loved, that was my favorite part of Upstairs we're watching, and it's like, you're going, if Swiffer dies, if the bot lane fight goes differently, if Direwolves get that, if if he doesn't screw up the last hits on top, and Jake's just like, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So what I will say, and like obviously we're just playing devil advocate, the early game didn't go perfect for Order either. Dream was 1 auto attack away from collecting all 3 of those kills, and he finished the game 0 kills. So if you have a 3-kill Kai'Sa, Order had complete control over neutrals, and they got 2 ocean drakes, 2 air drakes as their first 2 drakes. If they're double mountain or double fire, like I think the game is also much more different, right?
Yeah.
So I think like that's why I'm saying nothing went right with anyone. There was lots of little mistakes out of everyone, but I think that the team that kind of had the really easy, and you know, Choo Choo said it, their comp is full of really easy go buttons. Like I've talked about Direwolves before. They want to play a style that is like. We knew what Direwolves were going to play. Like we know how
when they
Direwolves
won
play
back-to-back splits,
everyone knew what they were doing then as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it hasn't changed in 2 years. They've got different parts, but those parts are looking good today. And that's where, like, if you're Order, you have to just cop this one and be like, all right, like hat tap, like you guys had a really good comp, and like you executed on it really, really well. And we made some pretty big errors in those team fights, especially around Dream and Swiffer. So you know, you give them game number 1 because they played those really, really well.
Because I think you also have to hit on like a couple of those parts, right? Like Raze is being like
He's a
outed
machine.
more and more as just being an absolute monster. Like I called it a strafe flash, the Sejuani, which is weaseling forward and then just flash ulti to get through. Because like you're a carry behind 3 people. Your Dream. Swiffer dukes it. I think it was like Spooks and Jake sitting in between, and he just nails the Kai'Sa with a Sedge ulti. And the other big one that genuinely won Direwolves the game is Biopanther. He's been a guy that, like, last split didn't look so crash hot. This split has had inconsistency, but, like, that Nico pick, every single time he found the backline on a flank, and it's not just, like, he, as the side lane, cannot get his own flank wards. There's so much credit that has to go to even Corporal, the one placing the wards, but the rest of the 4 getting in those situations. But, like, every big swing for Direwolves was, like, holy crap, Biopanther has found Swiffer or Dream or someone again, nails him with the ulti, and then team fights just get clapped by Get Back on the Aurelia.
Yeah, see, I was going to really hype up Get Back because this is a guy that, you know, had the Akali ban thrown towards him. You can say like half of a Silas ban or maybe 40% of the Silas ban, depending on where you think the Silas is going. But he played it last week, I believe, and had like a 15-kill game into...
The Akali?
No, the Silas. Didn't he have like a 15-kill game against Ryoma or something? Silas into Yasuo? I don't know. There was certainly a big game out of him on that. So like, and this is a guy that, you know, gets double ban thrown towards him. Syndra, I think, is inarguably the strongest mid laner on the patch, and we're going to see more of her. Like Lane Kingdom, ganked at level 6, ganked again, and then in every single team fight was able to just get onto like key carries, land key stuns, landed a 4-man ulti on the same fight, you know, is right behind Raze. And I've been really impressed with him because he's playing, as a mid laner, you normally credit mid-jungle synergy. And I haven't spoken to Raze much, but I don't think he is like, he's got good English, but I don't think he has like fluent. But he and Get Back and Raze seem to know exactly what they're doing at the perfect time, right? They're very in sync with each other. And I think that, you know, for a first-year player, that's a real testament to how well Get Back is playing at the moment.
So Rusty touched on it at the desk as well. It's now like a momentum versus experience after game number 1. Order have elected blue side for game 2, and Direwolves have something to Toro. So taking out Corporal. Was Corporal the right choice for game 1.
He played really well.
It's looking
Dodged
good.
out on the Syndra stun that won them the first team fight that got in the 2-man headbutt pole. That's hard to do under the big stage.
Also, you're getting like level 2 dove by Jarvan, so like it's a rough game. You know what I mean? You can't look at that role and be like, oh wow, like you were set up to succeed. Like that was not the case. But I think he played super well. I think even in mid lane, like things that don't hit, he's trying to predictably like pulverize Jake's Rakan knockup when he gets the flank. Like the little things that he was there to punish the predicted play, and that didn't happen. So it kind of looks like he just Q-pulves the ground, and it's like, what are you doing? I think he actually had a good game, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we will see how it goes for game number 2. We'll be there in a couple of minutes. Before we get there, we have since it's Gauntlet week, we have the OPL awards for the split coming up on Saturday. So we've got all the standard awards. We've got your radiant medals. You got your most best rookie and all that sort of stuff. But we wanted to come up with some new award categories as well. So I thought we could brainstorm a couple. We'll get you guys from the chat as well. And we also have a HyperX headset to give away to the person who comes up with the best one. There's your headset.
Are there any other rules?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would argue, it doesn't even need to be about League of Legends.
I was about to say, because League of Legends, those 3 words were not said in that spiel.
Just give me anything that's been solid over the last 2.5 months.
So I want an award, and I've wanted this award for a while.
Please.
And I'm going to stake my pitch. Casters fall in love with players. And then talk up players, and pro players out there, like, I'll be like, I really think Bryce is the best support in the league. Like, Bryce on Alistar, blah, 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 blah. And then everyone else will be like, you know what? It's actually Ray's carrying the lane. Like, Bryce is doing nothing. And it kind of becomes a meme behind the scenes. Like Spooks and Swiffer, like, all the old ones. I want pro players to vote on a caster.
The biggest disconnect.
The biggest disconnect between pro player opinion and caster opinion.
Yes.
And who is the caster responsible for it? Because I love we obviously do the radiant medal, right?
Yeah.
And captains have a vote. And Swiffer said, like, who do I think should win? I was like, well, it's your vote, but if you want my opinion, it should be X, Y, Z. And mine and Swiffer's votes.
We're just vastly different.
The dark side of the moon and Earth, they are very far apart.
That's such a good award.
That's a great award.
I'm here all week. I have nothing. I don't know. I have no idea.
I even warned you about this.
But
you were Googling.
No, I just have a list of all previous awards.
You were Googling. Sorry, I'm just looking at some suggestions.
That's really good.
Okay, so Minky Whale. The Tim Wendell Award, worst jungler who never ganks top.
He already has
There's
the most
already a
improved
Tim
award.
Wendell Award.
We should
Yeah, no,
name
it should
everything
just
that's
be
Tim
all.
Wendell.
It should just entirely be Tim.
Yeah.
Nobi1 says the funnest interview, which I mean.
Yeah, we've done the best interview.
Yeah, we had that one. Because there's been like best segment. There was an interview with Jubes that I think won an award one time with you.
Yep.
And then Only's Mum at Rift Rivals. That one
was the best interview. Full stop. And
Yeah.
she doesn't even
I
play.
think mine and Calvin's interview from last week.
Oh, just like, hey, your teammate.
He dresses like filth.
And you wouldn't have seen that one.
I haven't watched the show yet.
No,
so was
That's
it solid?
good. I'm glad that your preparation was really up to...
I wasn't informed there would be any questions about last week's broadcast. According to me, it never even happened. Mr. Smile says best hair. Svenma says Mr. Congeniality, which I like. We could get a sash.
What is that?
Congeniality is like sort of like the best personality kind of like, but like
It's like Prom King.
a bit, yeah. Did you ever see the Sandra Bullock classic Miss Congeniality?
No.
All right.
That's why
That's
I
why
don't
he
know what
asked.
this
Was
is.
not it? Yeah.
How about who is the most stylish player? Not the best player. Like, who is the most flashy, highlight
like in
reel?
play
esque-
style.
like League of
Right.
Legends?
Like League of Legends.
Who does
like,
the sickest
the sickest
stuff.
shit?
Yeah.
Like, Razor's got to be up there. He's got some good flash kicks. He's got some flash kicks into some shields, but he has some good ones.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
Sejuani play was really, really good. He is a throw the cast Gragas player, like Jesus take the wheel kind of dude. Like, I'm hoping they don't flash this bad boy because the cast's already out.
Yeah, because does that turn? Well, I mean, I think you need to set some parameters to not make it like best play.
Yeah.
I immediately I'm thinking of like, like the 1-2 punch, like the Azir wall that's in the highlights package, where Yama throws them into
Tommy
mimic
has to
like
be up there.
slamming people into the wall.
So
it's like
my question with that is,
it's
do
DN has
people-
to be up there because I don't know if you guys know this, but the webcams are perfectly synced to the stream. So he was dancing before it even won that 1v3 that time.
Yeah.
Do you have to have like achieved the play you were looking for, or is it just an
Absolutely,
intent of
yes.
style?
No, you have to have done it because there's not like if you're a good dancer, but you
Yeah.
face plant on a dance floor,
I'm just
no
saying
one goes. That guy's a good dancer.
That's still style.
They say that guy face planted.
There's an element of style there.
I think you do both.
Yeah, because I reckon,
Successful and fail.
totally. I think the fail is
That's
even
so
more into
good.
it. Keller GG says biggest clown award. Nobi1, top guest host. Llama.
No, everyone. Yes.
So, oh god, there was a typo there. Sorry, it said best Nick Boy. And then best dresser. Who would be the best dresser in the OPL?
Well, the problem is the players
wear
don't have
friggin-
much of like.
It would be a
They
Grabcast
all-
player
they-
because at least they have some
They
variety.
have a wardrobe.
Yeah.
They don't have a.
It also depends when
Yeah.
you determine best dress. If it is like the most money that you put on someone's like outfit,
That it's
No,
Tommy.
it's got to be
his
like
belt?
yeah, someone like that. But then like I don't know. Rusty said that the Order boys look good. They all went and got haircuts
Yeah.
before today.
But Jake's wearing a flannelette shirt, but he's also got it tucked into his pants. So he's real formal today by Jake Sanders. Chuchu's got a sick new fade as well. They're looking fantastic.
Okay, cool. We'll continue to send your suggestions in. Send them to @OPL on Twitter. Put them in Twitch chat. I'm watching. We're always watching. Speaking of watching, game number 2.
Let's watch it.
Let's watch it because game number 1 led us to believe that spicy things could happen tonight.
Absolutely, it's been a good game so far.
Good split Gauntlet day 1 so far. Let's head over. I got confused. I don't even win the
split,
best
guys.
Nick Boy award anymore. That really screwed it up. Let's head into the Max Champs Select for game number 2.
Amazing, thanks guys. I feel like for like stylish stuff, you could do coaches, right? Because they
you
do
could.
get to choose, right? And I feel like we have some pretty stylish coaches.
Yeah, I think when AV had that ring-in coach for a couple of weeks there, he just definitively won with his money suits and chains on. But, you know, to each
Yeah, that's
their own.
probably fair. Yeah, maybe honorary mention. But yeah, getting into game 2 here, obviously game 1, going over to the Direwolves.
Yep.
I did hear that Totoro is coming in for game 2 here for the Direwolves.
Yep.
Order did choose blue side as well. So as we get into this one, there are 2 things to keep in mind here. But yeah, I mean, winning game 1 with Corporal is a huge deal. I mean, I was fully expecting them to lose that game 1 after the start of the game, you know, but a big turnaround, and it was those individual players, I think, that we pointed out and the count pointed out that really turned it around there. So let's get into this second draft, as it will be Silas and Gragas being taken off the table here by Order, and Kiana removed definitely from the hands of Swiffer, who's been picking up a lot recently. That's all he played in week 10. And it will be a Zayaban here towards Dream as well.
Yeah, so the first things first is I don't really think anything massive changes by the bans or the picks in terms of like, this failed massively, or like this was the problem and we need to get rid of it. I think that, you know, still continuing the bans that they had were okay. The one major difference is that now that we've swapped sides, Zaya Rakan is more free for Order. And that does mean that, like, you know, Jake, very comfortable to pick Rakan into any matchup. He's just so good on the champion that he'll do that. Totoro very clearly not in the same boat. Jake's an edge case in that regard, and so Zaya is going to be banned by Direwolves, which means we get to see the first true adaptation from them. And that's actually followed by a second one here with the Karthus ban.
Yeah, Karthus comes through and the Sejuani as well. Order just straight up lock-in Gangplank. Most likely looking towards top lane, you'd have to expect, and now over to the Direwolves.
And the Karthus ban to me is a bit of a reaction to the Sejuani actually changing here as well from Order. They said, Raze, you can't have that champion. That's just not going to happen. But yes, the byproduct of that is that Gangplank has been left open. Morgana as well has also been left open.
Right.
So we get to watch, where do Direwolves go in response to this? Because right now, matching a solo laner is easy. I think you would go a bottom laner here, maybe even consider the Nautilus, but Morgana's available. So do you just go an AD carry and let Order show their hands? Maybe the Kai'Sa would be the best pick here.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Renekton picked up. Obviously, Tally picked up the last game on red side. Kai'Sa as well, actually, here from the Direwolves. So actually just kind of copying Order's composition on red side.
Yeah, nothing too drastic there from Direwolves. They want Order to show their bottom lane. Like mentioned, the Nautilus not really a safe pick when Morgana exists. Same thing with the Braum. You know, Totoro is one of the Braum players, and this would not surprise me given that it was banned already. They're going to lock in the Morgana. The question to me goes towards what is with it. Is it something like the Sivir now that Ezreal has seen some nerfs? I wouldn't be too surprised. You could go Caitlyn and just run the Kate Morg. I personally find that very risky when a jungler hasn't been seen, however, from your opponents, but that's just me.
Ooh, hover
This could
over
be interesting.
Tristana, and it's locked in. You know, I think this might actually be the first Tristana that has actually been played in the OPL.
And it may not be a solo lane.
And it may not be a solo lane because it has been banned a lot and then left open and never picked.
Yeah.
And that has been a thing for like 6 or 7 weeks, and every time it's been like, oh no, and finally in the Gauntlet order we'll pick it up.
Yeah, we get an opportunity to actually see the Tristana, though I don't think it will just be in the solo lane unless that last pick that we can see obviously there from Get Back was going to be something that can be hard countered by it. Now we've got the Akali locked in. Something that was banned from him in that first game. First 3 bans of order involved the Akali. Fantastic Aurelia performance on an individual level. Worked brilliantly with Raze on that Sejuani. But now the Sej is banned, so is the Aurelia effectively.
Yeah, Get Back, absolute monster in that first game. Azir ban here towards Swiffer. It's going to be an Elise ban at Raze. As I was looking towards their final ban now in our second game. It's going to be Syndra actually, paying respect to Swiffer's Syndra. To be fair, it was getting a lot of work done in the early game and in those team fights when they weren't just blowing him out of existence.
Also, and this is towards the point that Spawn raised while on the couch as well, and I think he's correct. You know, like, Syndra has just been buffed to the point where she's probably just going to be at the forefront of the mid lane meta now. So you do pay a lot of respect to that. And Corki's a champion that's available, right? So maybe they go for the Corki. But does that necessarily matter when Syndra's too strong? So in terms of like what are the 2 must-ban champions for that solo lane, Azir and Corki it used to be. Kiana's already removed, of course, which is why I say that. Syndra now seems to crop her head up as the 3rd in line. But don't forget that, you know, banning the Syndra still leaves open something like a Zoe for Swiffer at any moment. They've got a physical damage top laner as well. They have their pick of the litter with mid lane champions, and they know the matchup. So they could pick anything they would like here.
Also, Swiffer has a very large champion pool. From what we've seen from recent weeks, that has only really gotten bigger. I remember like when TF bans were being still levied at him midway through the split.
Yeah, he could pick Twisted
Yasuo out
Fate,
from
actually.
him.
That's a really good suggestion, specifically because Akali exists with invisibility now. So you play Twisted Fate, you ult whenever she presses W in a team fight. Counted.
Yeah. Syndra as well. Or Syndra? Lissandra. The other one that sounds almost identical. Lissandra is going to be picked up here by Order, likely going into this mid lane, so you're right, it probably will be that Tristana and Morgana going to the bottom lane. We are now looking for a jungler for Spooks. Once again, final pick, this time on blue side.
The Olaf hover was actually something that they may see return back into their hovers. We'll see where they choose to go with this one. It's the Kha'Zix. Has actually seen some touches in a very positive way, so slightly buffed, but really that adds up some numbers in a Kha'Zix's isolation damage to be quite significant. And so we get to see the Kha'Zix here for the side of Order. It's blind picked, however, into the jungle role. So for me, they pick List, they pick Kha'Zix, and they say, let's throw the gauntlet. Let's play a really strong assassination-heavy 2v2. What have you got, Raze?
Yeah, obviously that Sejuani was huge in that first game. Gonna go towards the Olaf, though. It was still flashy picks open, such as the Lee Sin if he wants it, but does choose towards the Viking. And yeah, now we have these fully locked in compositions, just waiting for people to swap on up their roles, and specifically Raze and Gatsuri. There we go.
And we've seen a couple of very curious things for me in this drafting phase. So the first and foremost thing is that we saw the Braum picked into the Morgana in bot lane. So for me, it's pretty clear that Direwolves have said we're going to weather the storm of this lane. You know, we don't hit stuns, fair enough. If we don't hit stuns, that's life. We actually still have a relevant tank for team fighting, who will still be very useful in diffusing the damage of our opponents. So they cop the L in laning phase, and that should be fine for them. That's a choice that they've made. They've gone for the Olaf as their last pick for Raze, which, you know, in terms of pick priority isn't a massive surprise. But they've gone for the Olaf against someone that could very easily attempt to assassinate them. It's very hard to kill Swiffer, very hard to kill Dream. Tally is a prime target as well, however. You know, Spooks with the invisibility, not simple to lock down as well. We'll see how they play this one out. I'm very curious to watch the Olaf through the early stages of this game on the Rift, because with a Renekton in the top lane, the kill threat very high.
Oh, absolutely, in that early laning phase. Oranges aren't going to really help you up against short, like, slows and then constant dashes coming out from Renekton. It's like a very annoying lane for the Gangplank to get away from. It's not just one big piece of CC that you just orange and leave from. As we get into game, though, we do have Curtis joining us. Hello, hello. How are you feeling after that game 1 win?
G'day, guys. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get too anxious. Just game
Sure.
one. It's a whole series ahead of us. So, obviously off to a good start. Feeling good.
Yeah, obviously my first question has to be talking about bot lane and support coming in here, because now we have Toto for the second game, but Corporal coming in for game 1 when we've only really seen Toto for the last like 3 weeks or so for the Direwolves. What was the idea behind that?
I can't really go too much into it, but
Sure.
we just felt like it was right for the way we feel the drafts were going to pan out, and also against these guys specifically. So yeah, we just decided on that, and it ended up working out decently. So, but then obviously we have something that, I mean, we haven't had the luxury, and not many teams do, is actually having a legitimate sub, and you can watch the game and be like, oh, okay, I kind of see what's going on here. I kind of see what we need to work on, or where we need to tighten up for the next game. So we actually have that, that competitive advantage in a way. So that's really interesting to see Totter and how he uses that for this game.
Yeah, legitimate learnings and a best of 5 thing, right? Now that you've got the best of series, you can utilize that to its fullest. Is always going to be a positive thing. Now, for you, Curtis, you've been around for a while in the OPL. Talk to me about what you said to your players before the best of series, because a piece of advice that Chippies has constantly mentioned, and you're with him for a while, is don't use all of your energy in game 1.
Well, again, like, so something that, I mean, mistakes that I've made in the past as a coach is just making it too full on and too complicated. You know, you really want to keep it simple. I mean, these guys, you know, it's the first best of 5. We got to run the whole gauntlet if we actually legitimately want to get to MEO. You don't want to do anything overly crazy and anything different, really. We just want to kind of keep it simple, keep what we've been doing the last few weeks and this split. Yeah, and just kind of keep it free flow. So anything that I said was just, I wouldn't go anything out of the ordinary. Just keep it chill, keep it calm. Just play the game. You guys know the macro. You guys know how to play the game. And we've done it before, so let's do it again.
Do you have any superstitious players in your team? Like rituals before the games that they do?
I've noticed things that players do. I don't know if they're superstitious or not, but I know that Raze listens to music all the time, and he kind of tries to go a bit like inwards. I know Jared listens to Get Back listens to a bit of music as well. But yeah, not really. I don't think anyone has anything overly crazy. Yeah.
Contrary to you saying that like the players are taking it chill, you want the players to take it chill. Like I was watching it, and like obviously huge big plays coming out from multiple individual members. Watching Get Back on player cam was literally just like vibrating in seat, like levitating out of a seat even, right? So what was the mood of the players coming into today?
So I would say that everyone was pretty excited and very confident. We're 3-0 versus Order during the split, so everyone was feeling really confident. And obviously coming off the back of a 3-0 Super Week, everyone was feeling really good. And we've had a lot of time to think about like our identity and the way we want to approach these games and our priorities. So everyone's feeling really good in the camp. Everyone's feeling really happy. And for me as a coach, just as long as they get their sleep in, they're feeling happy, healthy, ready to go, then that's all I can really ask.
Do you think it's a stylistic thing that gives you the advantage against a team like Order? You know, it was mentioned by Choo-Choo's in the first interview we had that, like, stylistically they're real confident if they make it to the Bombers. Is that something that you guys feel similarly with, like, regarding Order?
Yeah, I think stylistically we match really well versus Order. I think across the board they struggle versus us, whereas I would say we would struggle more against the teams like Bombers. Whereas these guys, I'm honestly surprised with the way they're adapted. They're kind of drafting as well. So I'm props to them for kind of changing it up and not going their usual picks. So, but yeah, I think the guys are pretty confident just stylistically matching up well individually and even like the mid jungle, bot lane, everywhere really.
Yeah, awesome. I won't take too much of your time, so thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck in the rest of this best of 5.
Thanks, guys.
A little bit dicey there for a moment, Raze, but he'll navigate his way out to safety. Compliments of the Krugs standing in front of Morgana. You're not actually able to bind him. He's got
Hey, the
minions.
Moss.
So yeah, 4 minutes into this game, nothing too drastic has really occurred here. There's a lot of calm, measured League of Legends happening on the Rift. Some small moments, some small opportunities, but nothing that's really blown open any advantages. Not even massive health chunks.
I wonder if we'll see a day where you have, you know, a champion who can control minions or jungle camps. Because we have Syndra who can displace them, right? But will there ever be a time where you can directly control
the jungler
Krugs? Yeah, and you literally see like big Krug just walk out of his camp and run towards
That
you.
would be sick. Also really game-breaking, so highly unlikely. You just see Baron wiggle out of the pit and start attacking the mid lane.
I see it more as just like Kano. You kind of possess the camp, right?
Well, what if... Okay, so this is where it would break. I won't indulge this for too long. Is that, like, it dies to the tower and there's golden experience there. So you could abuse that by taking a jungle minion to a lane where no one is and getting a free camp.
Well, Spooks is looking for this gank in his bottom lane. It's more harass onto Totoro, it turns out, in the end, but we'll look for his recall, actually. He's already gone for his first back of the game, actually, with full longsword, but he's still opting for the recall. His camps are pretty much all gone, so...
Just boots in a control wood.
Yeah.
As actually, at the same time as his recall, the dragon has been started here by Raze. He may not know the timing of that reset because it was in Fog of War, but Order are very much aware that this one has been started by the control ward that was placed. The question is, can they stop the Infernal Dragon from being taken? As they are in the area.
Oh, it's starting to reset as well, but they do get the root down onto mid lane, get back in his stealth field. Stun down onto Totoro, brings up the door. Swiffer waiting for his opportunity.
Reinforcements have arrived, they've got
it's
vision.
Down to 1k, hop over the wall, it's secured by Raze. Totoro taking his damage from the Gangplank ultimate. Now Crab is under attack as he spawned in. And that will be first dragon going over to the Direwolves Infernal, no less, as Jake is still looking for this. Spooks is in the pit.
There's a lot of fishing happening right now, and it seems like the second objective they wanted to fish for was the Scuttle Crab. Spooks did use his smite on the Infernal Dragon, as did Raze. So realistically, that would have been a smite-free steal attempt. But because it doesn't actually go over in the favor of Order at all, and he couldn't steal it, we get a second to actually take a look at the difference in Jungle Farm right now, and it is significant.
Yeah, absolutely. 44 to 27, kicking off this game. 500 gold at 7 minutes between jungle difference with 0-0-0 on the board is quite large. And especially getting towards that dragon first, Olaf has been putting in some work.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that the gold difference across the board is only 200. I'm trying to find where exactly that is. I think 200 advantage for top lane is a pretty big spike. Also for Tally, and for Gangplank players alike, he would be very happy with his first recall and purchase of a Sheen. Being able to base as Gangplank by an outright Sheen is a lane-winning move, effectively, for any Gangplank. So feeling very comfortable up there now. He has the Q trades against the Renekton and can just sprint away.
Yeah, first back hyper important. Lysandra got her first back as well, lost chapter boots, and just control ward. So yeah, looking towards mid lane once again. Actually has a pretty sizable advantage here. Get back did rotate first in that one, but still Lysandra with the early advantage kind of makes sense. And yeah, it's kind of been a while since we've seen Lysandra and Kha'Zix. To be honest, we saw a first Kha'Zix last week. And it was just like, the question was, what's he going to involve? What's he going to max? It was the ultimate max coming in from the Kha'Zix we saw last week, so we'll see what Spooks does.
The R evolve.
Yeah.
You have to highlight where he goes. You could go for the assassination build. I think Q-Max would be nice against certain members there of Dials, but ult is just useful. Having an extra charge, having an increased duration, being able to navigate skirmishes and team fights more effectively through those means, to me, is a very big deal. So wouldn't be too surprised to see that one evolved again as hunting for the stun.
Yeah, Totoro once again gets 2 stacks down, but won't get the rest. Olaf has found himself on the bottom half of the map here, has gone for his first back and picked up Warrior Enchant for second back. Top lane. Look towards those watermelons. Back up the hits of Dominus. Is going to chase down Tally here. Has called a Meek, looking for a flash and forces it out from Tally.
Yeah, good stuff there from Biopanther to be able to force the flash. Tally has a lot of lane stay. He had 3 biscuits, I believe, that he hadn't used yet. Corrupting Potion stacks now being chugged as well. So should be able to stay in that lane as long as there's no risk of diving in the immediate next 30-odd seconds. So seems fine for him as Spooks on the hunt.
Forces the flash, instantly flashes after, gets a nice stun down off of the W. Can he get in range though? Spooks takes 2 tower shots. Biopanther will manage to get away.
Like ulting bot.
Bottom lane. Oh, and he's just instantly dead. First blood goes over to the Olaf. And in goes the Killer Instinct. Katsuro get the second. 2 kills to the Direwolves.
And once again, the thing that Direwolves seem to do better than any other team in the OPL right now is the get back is always there for Raze when they make the plays on a lane. In a side lane, specifically bottom more often than not. Good kills go over. Just so hard to kill a Braum, first of all, and they don't even get Totoro in the trade. Now 2-0. We'll see this again. As it looks like Raze get back. They're in the area pretty fast. Gangplank ultimate is used in advance and is good timing, but Jake just obliterated off the map, just instantly dead as they time their engages perfectly. Braum tanking, picturesque there from Direwolves.
Yeah, Direwolves are definitely picking up the pace. Double pickaxe coming in here from Katsuri. 1-0-1 on jungle and bottom lane. Yeah, this is a great start for the Direwolves. Obviously, in direct contrast to that first game, Totoro's on the top side of the map here, clearing away wards. But this is now a Herald contest, it looks like, on the horizon. Both supports actually find themselves on the top side of the map, looking at each other.
It's one of those moments where you do look at the draft and you really feel like, what are they in for here? That was a nice finding little connect, should just be a disengage. Tristana's scaling is always very high, right? You get that extra range, such a big deal. And always wants those items. You know, 2-item, 3-item spikes are the places that you look at for Dream. Has a Morgana as well, so really cannot be impeded on when these fights happen. Can't be stunned by the Renekton. Can't be hit by the Braum ultimate or the Braum passive as well if it's timed correctly from Jake. So they're really in for a good scaling type of composition here through the bottom lane. They've got CC, they've got frontline that is built from a Lissandra and a Gangplank, but a lot of it is zone control. It's not pure tankiness. It's a period of time where Swiffer can't be hit. It's a period of time where there's a keg, you have to deal with the keg. You have to deal with another keg. Swiffer gets himself out to safety. The other thing is also if Kha'Zix evolves W. You know, like, that's really hard to get through. Tristana has the ultimate. It's really hard to get through. So these tanks on Direwolves that exist and will be a nuisance can be pushed away, can just be killed on the spot and isolated more effectively from Order if they play their comp out.
It feels like by all these powers combined, they will annoy the tanks to death before they can actually get to the back line. Apart from Olaf when he's got those 8 seconds of Ragnarok.
Yeah, but he just dies. So, like, the thing is, they have a Renekton Olaf top side and an Assassin in mid lane as Raze isn't being engaged on.
He turns around, takes a bunch of damage, follows through with the claw. Spooks gets the kill. Dream under attack now, in with the fissure. Nice dodge out from Dream. Buys him a couple extra seconds before the Ikefian Rain finishes him off here. Katsuri looking to back away. Here comes the Binding Connect once again onto Braum. Here's the teleport as well from Order. They're trying to make their way out. The claw once again follows through. Double lockdown with the Ring of Frost. Spooks over the wall, gets himself his second kill. Get back, flashes over, but the rest of Order are still chasing him down. Swiffer waiting on these cooldowns, gets some movement speed out of the Shroud, but Spooks is making his way after. Claw once again follows through. Blink, and Spooks get his third kill of that entire chase.
And once again, Order find themselves bouncing back. They've got a 3-0 jungler once again as well. And at 12 minutes in, they find the opportunities that they were after. Direwolves tragically found themselves on the wrong side of the map. They were at the enemy blue buff, so the teleports come in, the kills are secured. We'll see this again as, you know, predictive of the future. Raze gets himself absolutely one hit by Spooks and Swiffer. Dream, nice little fancy footwork and dodging for a little bit there, keeps himself alive and also forces the flash out of Katsuri to secure it as, you know, Get Back was on the wrong side of the map over the wall. From this point, they're just routed. They're stuck. There is no real safety to be found from them. Katsuri, even though he gets himself out with a dash, and he will make it out, everyone else sacrifices their lives for this Kai'Sa. Eventually, you know, a blue buff Lissandra will always have the claw up again. They'll find you.
I mean, it's also how many times do you see like a 3 to 4 claw Lissandra fight, right? Like, that's such a long cooldown on that ability, but it was used, like, you actually saw the chase potential of a Lissandra in like a 40-minute fight, a 40-second fight. So, yeah, 3 more kills onto the jungle. Somehow that's happened again. Baipower did get a lot of time onto top lane, however, here, so collects 2 plates for himself. Bottom lane, Shelly's going to return, though, from Direwolves, so it will actually get a lot of extra gold influx just as the plating falls.
Yeah, suddenly 480 gold as an influx. Get Back has the Shroud, but he's in trouble.
Yeah, bought him some time there, and it was actually very crucial. They had no way of really revealing him, so Direwolves move on to the Dragon, get themselves their second of the game, and it is a mountain into another Infernal. Order really wishing those clouds from game 1 were the same luck that Direwolves are having here on red side, but not to be, unfortunately. Get Back trying to get his blue buff and stolen away from Void Spike, will collected by Spooks.
And you take those if you're Spooks. Of course, he was spotted in vision. They don't respect it enough, and they think they have enough perhaps burst to just one-hit that blue buff, not to be seen. And now Get Back, a little bit harder of a time to clear the waves in mid, but should be okay for the moment. As the energy changes on that W do actually give him all of the energy he needs for a third rotation of Q. Direwolves still in a good spot, really. You mentioned the Dragons. I think that's absolutely true here. Dragons are going to help them a little bit too much. Katsuri is still having a fantastic game of League, and The only risks for me are the things that we've mentioned before when you highlight what Order have. Their composition scales super well, but now their mid-game spike champion, their lethality champion, is online with 3 kills. So they have a lot of opportunity now.
Yeah, that is a fatty carve if I've ever seen one. 3-0-0 to start off the game. That is not something you want to see necessarily if you're on your opposing team. Swiffer is slowly poking away at this tower. Gets the dash right there, but Biopamper did tag onto a minion, so gets the dice as well. Looking for this recall, the Kha'Zix.
It's a Q evolve from the Kha'Zix, isn't it? He's got big claws right now.
Yeah, they're glowing a little bit as well. Changes per skin, so a little hard to see sometimes. Here comes the Claw, gets the Ring of Frost. Swiffer now out of mana. Spooks, a lot of damage though. Here comes the Dominus. Biopamper might actually clutch this one out. No, he's going to take down Swiffer.
Kill them
And will
both.
look towards Kha'Zix as well. And Spooks has to just run.
Biopanther had a single minion, his Guardian Angel, to remove any kind of isolation damage. It also feels like Spooks has got a lot of money, perhaps, that he hasn't spent. He has enough for lethality as well, so that could have added up. And really unfortunate there for the side of Order to not get that kill. Instead, Biopanther sends and delivers. It was threatening the double kill.
I mean, to be fair, Biopanther also a lot of gold to spend. Before that kill, still had 1,500 to spend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just ultimately the power of a level 11 Dominus on Renekton, you know, in that situation
yeah.
when Lissandra has no mana. Like, you're expecting, but it basically has to be the Kha'Zix doing all that damage, and you're right, that one minion, you know, get down, Mr. President Renekton. And that was essentially it, yeah.
Confident stuff here from Biopanther. Think back to week 10 of the OPL just before this gauntlet started, and Direwolves were looking really in form except for Biopanther. He was the one what felt like weak link in this team, constantly dying on weak sides, just constantly being exploited by his opponents. But now he is the one standing up. Massive teleports in the first game. Nice little 1v2 there as well as Totoro. He's caught.
Yeah, he's the master at catching bindings this game, but he is also at the same time Braum, so brings up the shield, blocks a ton of damage. And we'll go back to base off of this one as well. Yeah, now kill into the top side, goes back, picks up another Kindle gem, has boots complete as well, tabbies, and an extra longsword. So Biopamp in a very nice place on this Renekton. Tally will also find himself top lane after the migration.
He's also strong-sided right now, Biopanther. He's got the hover from his jungler, shadowing him in this lane. There's a reset from the rest of the map, however, so Raze is very much against the flow with his positioning. He doesn't know where the rest of Order were, but you'd feel like if they found him there, it could have been some trouble. But nevertheless, they're aware of it, Order. You can see Tally's positioning is very much respective of the fact that there's got to be someone here. Tally tries to get back to the tower, and Raze says absolutely not.
I don't think so. Get back is also here. And it basically means that the Gangplank cannot sit underneath his tower, and this one will go down to the Direwolves. Renekton already rotating towards his bottom lane. Another minute until Dragon's going to be yet another Infernal, so Direwolves do want to be congregated around this area. That being said, Getback's the one who doesn't have teleport, so we'll have to walk down himself.
We're hitting item spikes, however, from the Order side here as well. We've got the Infinity Edge done for that Tristana. Got the Trinity Force done for a while now, and Order, they are hunting on Totoro again.
He's blocking so much damage though. Spooks goes in, but doesn't get the execute. Dream will finally get the kill off the explosive charge. Biopanther with a flight, but he's slowed down by Tally. It will be 1-for-1 in the end. Oh, Jake getting caught out. Get back, jumps forwards. The axe does not quite connect, and Direwolves, they're still looking for this one. Toss out the W, dodged away from by Jake. Claw comes through, and Swiffer retreats. And Direwolves gain positioning.
Yeah, Swiffer with no mana, so he's going to have to go back to base. Teleport available for him and for Dream. So they should be able to hold this turret if that is their prerogative, and they will teleport towards it as well. So no problems. And in the end, it's just a kill trade to be seen. As Spooks once again goes down, but he was 3-0 with a shutdown, and that has been given over to Katsuri.
Yeah, it's just real unfortunate. Like, Totoro just blocks so much damage. You're expecting the execute off of that one. Spooks like, perfect, get the Q, and then I'll just leap away, but Braum refuses to die.
It's also a 19 minutes Boots of Mobility purchase there for Spooks.
Oh, wow.
I feel like that is just late, but that was the decision that he made, you know, went for the lethality items first, finish his jungle items first,
combat
which
stats.
is fair. Wants the combat, wants to be able to one-hit someone, which is true as a 3-0 jungler. That's probably a big part of what you should be doing. Jake, speaking of one hit.
Jake just actually just two-tapped. Katsuri comes in for the 1-2 setup. And that's just a kill.
Yeah, these mages just not really doing it at the moment for them, unfortunately. On the bottom side of the map, the Braum survived the laning phase fine. That's to Katsuri, now 4-0-1 Kaiser, and then Get Back just finds him time and again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the risk that you run, you know, with mage supports in the end. You are just very squishy compared to the amount of value that I think that this Brawn pick has actually brought out for the Direwolves this game. So, yeah, in the end, 3 dragons owed to the Direwolves. Pretty much on spawn, by the way, so we're on, you know, we're on a timer for at least 5 dragons in this one. Claw's just going to go short of Raze. And yeah, mid lane, bit of an ARAM setting up here. Now at the 20-minute mark, we have just crested, so Baron is available.
Yeah, we're in such a good spot, though, if you are Direwolves, when you look at the state of the map. You've got Direwolves, top laner Biopanther. Unfortunately for him, he has no teleport, but he's poised to push that inner turret against the gangplank, at least keep him busy. So constantly dealing with this bottom wave is Tally, who is 2 levels behind his opponent and 20-odd CS down. Now, I will say that he is a gangplank, so the gold difference is probably not incredibly large. You know, it's only 500 right now, so that's not too bad, right? But he is still behind and has to respect his opponents. Get Back is steadily climbing in terms of relevance. While the Lissandra right now is big, he is constantly finding himself out of mana and having to reset when he's making these little skirmishes and forcing these plays. So, you know, that is one of the reasons that Lissandra did start to disappear here and there, is mana costs constantly increasing.
Yeah, I mean, her passive changed as well, you know, which actually gave her mana in the laning phase, so now you spawn those thralls.
Yeah, that was a free spell, right? It's a free Q to throw, free extra wave of control. Add that up over, say, 10 waves, and suddenly you've used an extra 400 mana.
Big deal. Trying to figure out what those assist ping means. W comes out here by Katsuri. Nice steal there by Spooks. We'll actually get vision in front of Baron as well here. That's unremovable here from the Direwolves. They'll look towards his mid lane. A lot on the way pings. Looks like they want to make something happen here.
Yeah, they're actually threatening the dive. Biopanther is behind them right now at Raptors. He may flank. He's ulted. He's actually looking straight away.
Dominus is on. Gets the flash into stun. Jake just burn a stopwatch on this one. Walks away from the soul shackles, but he's still dead. Totoro gets that one. Biopanther now traps underneath the tower. Totoro trying to hold the door open for him. Here comes the jump into W from Spooks. Get Back. Jumps over. Goes into the Shroud. But this is very over-aggressive. Forces Raze forward. He tries to get out. Perfect execution. Flashes over the wall. Uses everything to get out. Kind of baits his jungler into his own death there.
Yeah, the overreach from Direwolves, but a brilliant punish from Order. They're aware of the dive as it happens. They get the Zonias and the ultimate off as well. The stopwatch from Jake. Brilliant stuff there from the supportive Order in a dying situation to make the most of it. Forces his trade against Biopanther, against the Renekton, and now Order, whilst they've been spotted, they have started off the Baron. It's already at 8,000 health, and it's really just Katsuri. Yeah,
Totoro very low. Get Back was ultra low off that, so had to go back to base off of that one. Tally,
they're 2 chunks.
They are very chunked. Acafian Rain, Spook gets a smite. He's still taken down by the Baron, but they do secure it in the end. Lissandra receives it. Toto with a nice dodge, and Katsuri and Get Back looking for the cleanup. Connects to W, Killer Instinct. There's the Q, but he is locked down, shut down over to Swiffer.
And he gives an 800 gold shutdown to Swiffer as well, and suddenly Order, they were only ever 2,000 gold down. It's Direwolves that say we need to make this happen. We need to try and make the plays while we have a really strong Renekton. They are countered, they are bested, and they give over Baron and shutdowns to their opponents. Bio flashes in to start this one off, doesn't hit his E, and so he doesn't have the second dash to safety. He's just dead. Totoro very low. Raze chunked, and Katsuri with a red buff will get health back, but not right now. And Get Back on vision chooses to go and just gets one tapped with his health bar. Raze trying to help him dead as well. And that's all that you really needed if you were ordered to run over to the Baron and lock that one down.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely still a risky play because that was a relatively early Baron with, I would say, not the best team at taking Baron at this stage in the game. So 3 members got chunked very low, which is like, you know, 1 Acafian Rain into 3 kills, and it was indeed 1 onto the jungle there of Spook, even with the smite heal. And yeah, I mean, still kind of surprised there was enough in the tank actually from Order on the retreat to blow up Katsuri that quickly.
Yeah,
but,
they
still.
are. So like some of the things that Order did do well while they were looking at the Baron, like the damage isn't ridiculous, but they do it fast enough with isolation and Trist, right? But they hit Gangplank kegs onto Katsuri, they chunked him to half health really easily, and the second he does show up to the party, Katsuri, to try and dive in, he's just locked down. You know, they've got aftershocks, so they're never going to die themselves. It's one of those scratch head moments, and like, why are you giving them a 700 gold shutdown?
Yeah.
Right,
I definitely saw the play in my mind's eye as well, which, you know, Katsuri does as well. 2 low health targets, Q available. Raze just drive-by, by the way.
You know, the thing is, like, it's amazing that this is the state of the map right now. They've just got a Baron order. Unfortunately for them, they've been hard pushed in. Red buff has been stolen away by Raze as they walk to the enemy red buff. There's a lot of map control still needing to be secured by Order to really set up themselves to succeed and get some towers, get some money. And only really the top lane outer turret is the one that's free to take right now. I would like to see them go for the mid lane inner. Not an easy turret to take, however. They're finally in a position to do so, though.
Yeah, what was interesting is even with that Baron, like pushing mid lane, pushing bot lane, but Biopanther still had a push on top side against Baron buff. Managed to take the inner turret there, only as Lissandra rocked up. So, yeah, Dial's still getting stuff off of this Baron, which is interesting. Top tower now being sieged in by Order. This should just be a gimme here on the outer tower. And now moving towards that inner turret as well. Looks like there might be a rotation.
Swiffer actually just faked a recall as well. He's going to show himself now. It doesn't matter too much, but one of those things you see someone recall as the tower dies, you lose vision. Oh, he's in base.
Yep.
He wasn't. He was hiding in a bush with Spooks. And speaking of Spooks, it is the W evolve. So
Yeah. Very different from what we saw before.
leaning towards the point that I made earlier as well, however, on kiting back. It's just so hard to deal with them. As
Absolutely.
Inner's dead.
Tower's dead. Get back was trying his best. Going to be recall here from the Tristana. And that's pretty much going to be the reset. So yeah, that was 2 inner turrets there. And a couple outer turrets as well from the Order lineup. So honestly a pretty good Baron power play overall, even though Direwolves were able to claim a tower in return. Yeah, we're now basically back to even. Still a good advantage over to Order in terms of gold, but we're going to see a teleport come out here actually from Dream, and Biopanther's going to say, okay, and back away.
I believe that was the entirety of that transaction. Just a quick little jot and run away.
Yeah.
I mean, Dream, at that moment, he doesn't necessarily need his teleport. There's no Baron up for a significant amount of time. And if they do get the pick on Renekton, they actually are in an incredible position, as Katsuri has been gangplank ulted as well. They are just hunting. They're just fishing right now for a moment, for a single person to be picked or chunked. But there's no objective for those chunks to be incredibly meaningful, right? So it is about the pick. It is about the kill.
Yeah, and once again, Renekton has found himself in an empty side lane, hitting an inner turret, which now Gangplank is reacting to. So Order trying very hard to make something happen, and Biopanther's is very happy to pick up 3 inner turrets.
Yeah, the cost of the transaction is quite high, unfortunately, for Order, but the idea is sound, and it's something that I wouldn't expect them to stop doing, with a Morgana, with a Lissandra, and Kha'Zix as well running around on the Rift. Their pick potentially is obviously very high. But also the counter-engage is something that we have to look at for them consistently, as their opponents need and feel that need to start engaging and going forwards. You know, Raze is going to build tanky from here on out. He hasn't hit that item spike. Sure. So he's actually not that tanky right now. If he runs into the face of Order, he just dies in 2 seconds. That is the Olaf's life right now. Renekton has gone for the Shojin build. He's building a Sterex gauge next, so he doesn't have resistance stats. He'll have a lot of health, but can die very quickly if he's isolated, or he is, you know, solo running towards the team as well. So this engage that Direwolves have is not exactly strong. As Raze,
Speaking of, walks into a death rush just set up by Spooks and Swiffer. They've been looking for those all game, and now it pays off.
it feels like clockwork coming out of Order here. They have a strategy. They're going to implement it. Biopanther's fighting bot lane.
Yeah, he opens up onto Tally, goes for the flash as well, into the slice and the dice, gets the kill underneath tower, inside base. Biopanther gets the solo kill.
He's just the difference maker right now, Biopanther. They see Spooks on the map when they kill Raze. No, oh, hang on a second.
Totoro looking for the engage, hits the fissure, in comes Get Back into this choke point, and they just obliterate Dream. Totoro pushing forwards, but it's reset time for this Akali. Trying for it, lands the W. Katsuri with the killer instinct, flashes forwards, wants the kill right here. Claw over the wall, gets the stun down. Spooks trying to get away from this one. And now the Lissandra may just pay for this one with her life. Has the flash though, should be able to use it out of this one. Actually flashes forwards, tries to get the kill. And Direwolves get 4.
But the stun had already been registered by Biopanther as Swiffer tried to flash forward. So he didn't get the trades, didn't get to make the plays for himself. And unfortunately for Order, all of the good work that they had just done, the pick they'd made onto Raze, the chaos that built out of that moment, just went entirely into the favor of Direwolves. They've got 5 members alive for this Baron buff.
Oh,
Nevermind,
this
it's
Gangplank
4.
ultimate. Claims 1, Totoro's low.
Spooks is here.
Walks up, gets another kill with the W. Does not get the Baron, but this is going to be a cleanup time here for Order. They claim 3 and only 2 Baron buffs remain.
And that could have been so much worse for Order if they didn't get there in time. They do manage to make it happen. Gangplank Ultimate, the quiet achiever there as well. Big work there actually from them to stem that bleeding. But unfortunately for them, the bleeding was occurring. You know, unfortunately for them, the plays from Direwolves were just happening. And I mentioned this last game, but BioPanther really stepping up to the plate has been the difference maker in this series to Week 10.
Absolutely. I mean, BioPanther, I feel like in 3 separate occasions this split would be like, oh man, this guy's a liability, and then this person is now the carry of the team, and that has just alternated back and forth through the split, where that's, you know, a very different story to last split, which was BioPanther exposed onto the scene. It's just like, this guy is just the top laner. But yeah, I mean, like, the perfect time is when you enter Gauntlet and you're trying to make that run towards MEO, and it's like, if you're going to be one or two sides of the coin, then be that one.
And patch 9.16, Mundo's been buffed. It's the bio patch, that's for certain. Unfortunately, he's not a jungler, so you may not see a whole lot of the Mundo. But no, Bio really has found himself tuned in, at least for the first 2 games of this series. Doing quite well for himself, but still he's against a Gangplank who has got 3 items done, nearing the 4th. It's not as simple as be a Renekton and win the game as, oh,
going for this engage. Tally jumps over the wall, gets a triple root down. Slow health on the Olaf as he's just sprinting away. Ticks down from the ignite. BioPanther teleports into the play, finds Tally off the backside. Double kill in for the Kai'Sa. Jake over the wall, chucking out the Q, doesn't connect, and Swiffer by himself has already used the ultimate. Has no flash, has no way to escape. A 3-for-1, and Direwolves get the win in the jungle.
Yeah, Katsuri just goes insane. It looks like a 3-for-5 type of scenario here for Order, where they found the picks. That's what they needed. But it's so hard to generate those picks against their opponents when you look at the items that they've got. First of all, it's a Braum with a QSS. Second of all, it's a Kai'Sa with a QSS and an ultimate as well. So really hard to get those. Ray's the only person who dies. Similarly to Game 1, when you said this Jarvan could be 7 deaths and Order could win, a similar thing will be seen here for Raze. He may die a lot, but his team should still be able to find those victories if they play it right, as we'll see this again. Tally jumping over the wall is a big part of how this starts, but they can't kill Totoro. The Braum ultimate is fantastic, and Katsuri is putting down damage onto the Kha'Zix, who just dies straight away. And BioPanther, unfortunately, Dream knocks the Renekton away from himself, which is the correct move into the Gangplank, as Katsuri is able to put down the DPS as well.
Yeah, Katsuri just constant deeps in that fight. Now 8, 2, and 4.
Look at his items, by the way.
Picked up the Leandries.
Yeah.
4.5 items.
You know, often you'll see the Kai'Sas, maybe I want to go AP, get myself a Zhonya's Hourglass or a Luden's Echo or a Deathcap, but he's gone for the Leandries this time, which, you know, to me is quite curious. It does amplify his damage if he's going to be consistently hitting people. And I guess that's what he's thinking for himself. Not a bad item overall.
No, I mean, it definitely results in a lot of damage. That's for certain. Olaf trying to trim that wave there with his Q. We've got a get back actually in the side lane here. And Baron's not for another 3 minutes, so he's able to push this one by himself. Backflip has been doing a pretty good job in those side lanes, but now it's the Akali. We've got recalls now coming through from Order. Going to be actually a little bit late here, so this will be damage onto the towers. The minion is going to crash.
Though, so it's a bit harder to push this wave in, and the damage will be there, but it's not high anymore.
Backflip is here. The side still has the slice and dice if he wants it. He's also here with Katsuri just being his front line. Spooks is just going to annoy them with the W. And Order have pulled off the defense here.
Has hit the level 16 Spooks as well. So he's got his 3rd evolve. This time it looks like Wings? The ultimate because he's red.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Which is, you know, again, hard to tell with every Kha'Zix skin, but universally he's a different color, so it's an R evolve.
Yeah. Difficult to see sometimes.
They're engaging.
Push forwards. Yeah, Swift is already in there. Pops the ultimate on himself, gets some healing out, goes into the Zhonya's, buys a lot of time. These are low health bars, but now it's BioPanther get back time to look for this cleanup. Dashes away, perfect execution.
Nobody dies.
Renekton also backs away. I'm so shocked no one is dead.
It really felt like Direwolves were losing that fight. A sick engage once again from Order. Just good damage that their composition's able to put out, and specifically, like mentioned, zoning. Really good zoning. Katsuri did nothing in that fight. He just couldn't get through. And it felt like that was it for Order, but again, get back and BioPanther still able to put in work. It is still a carry build from this Renekton. If he gets on top of you, he's going to mean business. And so nobody dies, and everyone has to disengage.
Everyone goes back to base. Everyone moves back out onto the map, but it also means things like the Guardian Angel and the Olaf also not burnt in that one. So everyone essentially has full resources going into this next fight. It will be over this Elder Dragon, 3 over to Direwolves, 2 over to Order, 30 seconds on the spawn. Order move into their bottom jungle and trying to get as much ward coverage as they can. And that W does a lot of damage on this AP Kai'Sa. Pretty much half health's Jake.
Yeah, you really feel the damage from that one. So if it does get himself over the wall, and he should be okay. Oh, he's fine. He's got an Ocean Dragon as well.
Yeah, he'll tick back up slowly.
I don't think they could even get to this Elder. So Order's only option is to run through lane. I think through mid lane itself. Vision has been asserted by Direwolves. They've said, this is our jungle. And now Order have brought themselves with 5 people through the middle lane itself. They've got supers to deal with, but they know that the Elder could be started right now. And it has been, and it's already dead.
That was so fast off of that spawn there. Katsuri and Raze 2-manning it there.
Oh.
Spook's just taking a bit of damage, now moving towards top side. Baron has just spawned.
If you are Direwolves, you just play to hit Kai'Sa Ws. Now it's an Elder Dragon and Leandri's.
Yeah,
Order no. They want to fight straight away. This Baron is just a conduit with which they want to fight. But if you're Direwolves, you play patiently. Just let Katsuri win the game. Just hit spells.
Yeah, Order feel like a fish in a barrel here, but it is a wide flank coming in from Get Back, and he's just dead. That's a minute death timer.
That flank was very wide from Get Back, who has still got both of his summoner spells available. Can Order do anything with this Baron, though? It feels like they're pressured into making the call. Spooks is already half health.
These are low health bars, but they go for the engage. Gangplank ultimate's down. Totoro low, but blocking out a lot of damage. He will drop by Panther, moves his way into the backline, but he can't quite make it. He can't get through this mass of skill shots coming in from Order, and they'll catch Olaf off of the Guardian Angel. That's 4 kills to Order and the Baron.
And they're just going to send one man back to deal with the base. The supers are crashing. Direwolves, it's Katsuri who gets caught again. And even through his QSS and his ultimate, he was locked in place for so long. W goes onto the Baron. He finds it at 1500. That's not enough for the steal. And Order still in a fighting chance. They've got the gold lead still in this game. They just haven't been able to progress that gold lead into breaking something from Direwolves.
And now we're basically just back to even once again. Order still have the gold lead, but now with Baron back in their side of the court, and this is also anybody's game in this second game of this best of 5. How even this is crazy.
This is a true Baron play, however. The Elder Dragon was taken first by Direwolves. The gambit that they took going from Elder to Dragon, a Baron, didn't pay off. They lost the fight somehow with that buff in their pockets. And so now they don't have map control. They don't have the ability to get wards down on that reset from Baron. Direwolves are blind. They're starting the Baron play off blind, and that means that Order should be able to get into the blue side jungle or the red side if they would like. Set up vision control and make the play more strictly as a standard. Not against the flow moment.
Yeah, they are setting this one up. There is a very deep flank ward here potentially for Biopanther, but we'll see. It should be just inner turret dropping here in this mid lane and then trying to crack open those inhibitor lines. Remember, this is now late game Tristana, 4 items,
18.
super long range, longer than Caitlyn with draw of bead passive. Like, this Tristana will do a lot of work in this situation, and Gangplank will just half health. The bottom lane here from Direwolves. Order have well and truly scaled.
Biopanther's just teleport flanked as well. Direwolves, I don't think they can really do it. He's just going to try and trim waves.
Yeah, that's all we can really hope for. There's only this cannon here, so they can't actually step up to these inner turrets. Nice little play there from Biopanther. We'll see what Order do, whether they'll move to top side, corral the Renekton away from their wave, or move bot side. It looks like they're moving towards the top side of the map here.
Maybe hunting for the Renekton. If they could find him, that would be a nice little bonus. It's unlikely, but they were close.
Playing battleships with the Renekton, but he just managed to get away.
I mean, it's amazing they don't actually get the inhibitor there. It feels like a game of chicken was just played by both of these teams. And somehow that inhibitor stands when Biopanther teleports in vision behind them and catches a wave. You don't need the wave to get that inhibitor, right? You had 2 people chunked in Totoro and Katsuri.
I'm legitimately so surprised that did not drop right there. You know, I was fully expecting the inhibitor to go down mid lane, rotation towards bottom lane. It was, you know, close enough where you push that one in, but no, it's the kind of soft commit, take down the tower, half health the inhib, go back to base, reset onto map, and I don't know how much is left of the Baron buff now, but I don't think much, if any.
That'll just be the Baron buff through that push, you would have to imagine.
Yeah, I think it's going to probably expire in
This
about
last
30
reset
seconds.
you're seeing from Gangplank to me is like, if they want to go for it, they would be going for it now.
Yeah.
So we do have the full reset. We're 40 minutes into the second game of this
Yes,
best
we
of
are,
series,
Rusty.
and we still don't
Yes,
know
we
who's going to
are.
win this game.
No, this is, I mean, it's legitimately, like, with open mid lane inhibs, this is one team fight win, right? For either team. You wipe the enemy team, it's over.
For sure. And right now, with how strong Dream is, there should be no way that they lose with the positioning they've got over their map. You just sit there, Tristan and max range, poke people. He can 1v9 a team fight with Jake just standing at his side. Direwolves need to find a way to flip the fight from front to back. They need Katsura to get onto the Tristana with Biopanther and Raze now if they want to have a chance at killing him. It just seems like it's too tall of an order for them right now as Order are breaking the inhibs.
Yeah, they got the first inhib in bottom, and then they move back towards this mid lane, the one that they set up earlier, and that also go down. Double inhibs dead. And Direwolves just don't have a ton of tools really to deal with this situation right now. Teleport was used by Biopanther, so that's not going to be a flank coming in from the Renekton. Order are actually still setting up traps in the jungle on both sides. Looks like, you're on the highway and the bandits are ready to drop rocks on you, from both sides of mid lane. But they do manage to spot this one out here, tossing up the Q.
The thing is, I feel like at this point in the game, it is almost impossible to execute the composition the Direwolves have with an Akali, with a Renekton, in the range of their opponents, the kiting and zone control of their opponents. One Morgana binding could lose you the game. But Kai'Sa hits enough Ws, it doesn't matter. 2 on the Jake and he's at 20% HP. And unfortunately, that would just make it a 4v5, right? So we're at that stage where it's going to be almost a poke battle, but it's order favored.
I mean, that Q connects onto Razor's half health. Dream is doing so much work right now. We'll get the rocket jump off. There's a Gangplank ultimate. These are low health bars here from the Direwolves. Swiffer chooses to go in on this. Hasn't popped the ultimate just yet. Get Back goes through. Gets forced out of the fight. So that's a pick onto Tani. He was left alone by Order. And jumps back in. Get Back tries for the assassinate onto Swiffer. He goes into his passive. And he's
look
dead.
At Dream. Dream can still do it.
Flashes forwards. Olaf is down. Spooks loses his Guardian Angel. Dream has a lot of damage still left to deal. There's another Guardian Angel on a Renekton. Steps forwards. Dream needs to not get CC'd here. Lands the dog binding once again. He backs away. Has the dog shield on him. Direwolves now pushing into the base 3 versus 4, but Dream, he has this opportunity to just pop off right here. He's getting all of his health back. Meanwhile, on the base, Direwolves have to respond. This is a teleport play coming in. Dream is trying to end into the base of the Direwolves. He does so much damage. I don't think they have the timers on these recalls. He's just going to end the game. Order will take game 2.
Dream just pulls out the heroic plays for the side of Order. We just find ourselves 1-1 in a series where it genuinely felt like Direwolves had done enough. They'd made the play in mid lane. They've done the impossible against Order, but they hadn't killed Dream. They never killed Dream. One teleport to Dream is all it took for Order to equalize the series.
To Dream. Wow. Yeah, off of the bizarrest mid lane play, like Tally gets left out, and then you have Get Back looking for another flank. It's like so chaotic in this mid lane. 4-man push into the middle lane, and then like Dream dips out of vision and teleports onto your Nexus. Like, what an ending to a game.
And I still feel like it's important to say that that felt really difficult for Order to do.
Oh,
Even though there were moments where it's like they had so much control. They had 2 inhibitors down. They were ready to go. One more reset and Order could just maybe win the game. But they stayed mid to try and get a pick. You're like, oh, God. Is this like where Direwolves do it? That wasn't, but it very well could have been. And that's the scary part.
As a commentator looking at that, so much anxiety. You just don't know what's going to happen at the end of that game. I mean, congratulations to Order. Now bring us to 1-1. We're at a minimum of 4 games here. But yeah, I mean, that really could, like, literally up until like 40 minutes, we're like, this goes either way. Like, we still don't know who wins this game, pushing into the base right there. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's just so much to look at in the game. Like, Baron plays, like, trades in jungle. There was so many teamfights going back and forth, objectives being picked up. I mean, the gambit to go towards, like, Elder Dragon if you're Direwolves and then move towards Baron.
There were definite moments where I thought Direwolves should have just won the game. Like, having the Elder Dragon moving to Baron, you feel like that should just be, like, they can't win the teamfight Order there. But the way that Order's composition works, which makes it so powerful, is the zone control. Gangplank hits a keg, suddenly you can win a team fight, And, like, that's all it really takes. And those individual moments is a big thing for Order here, because that's effectively what wins them the game, is their ability to do what Direwolves did in the first game. It's snap engage, hit your skill shots, and be set up to succeed. Yeah,
we're going to recoup. I'm going to get some water and catch my breath after that game. Hope you do the same. We're going to take a quick break before we get into Game 3 of this best of 5.
just went entirely into the favor of Direwolves. They've got 5 members alive for this Baron buff.
Oh,
Nevermind,
this
it's
gang
4.
playing ultimate. Claims one, Totaro's low.
Spooks is here.
Walks up, gets another kill with the W. Does not get the Baron, but this is going to be a cleanup time here for Order. They claim 3 and only 2 Baron buffs remain.
Baku has still got both of his summoner spells available. Can Order do anything with this Baron, though? It feels like they're pressured into making the call. Spooks is already half health.
He's a low health boss, but they go for the engage. Gangplank ultimate's down. Totoro low, but blocking out a lot of damage. He will drop by Panther, moves away into the backline, but he can't quite make it. He can't get through this mass of skill shots coming in from Order, and they'll catch Olaf off of the Guardian Angel. That's 4 kills to Order and the Barons here from the Direwolves. Swiffer chooses to go in on this. Hasn't popped the ultimate just yet. Get Back goes through, gets forced out of the fight. So that's
dead.
a pick onto Tani. He was left alone by Order and
Whoa.
jumps back in. Get Back tries for the assassinate onto Swiffer. He goes into his passive, and
But
he's
look
dead.
at Dream.
It's
Dream
a 2
can
for
still
1.
do it.
Flashes forwards. Olaf is down. Spooks loses his Guardian Angel. Dream has a lot of damage still left to deal. There's another Guardian Angel on a
Binding
Renekton.
connects.
Zest forwards. Dream needs to not get CC'd here. Lands the dog binding once again. He backs away. Has the dog shield on him. Direwolves now pushing into the base. 3 versus 4. But Dream, he has this opportunity to just pop off
Cut
right
through.
here. He's getting all of his health back. Meanwhile, on the base, Direwolves have to respond. This is a teleport play coming in. Dream is
trying to
teleporting into the base of the Direwolves. He does so much damage. I don't think they have the timers on these recalls. He's just going to end the game. Order will take game 2.